So this is how I import and create and basically handle levels so far in my game engine. So I'm just using LDtk, which is Level Designer Toolkit, and I was just trying to figure out the most optimized way to create and load levels in my engine. So essentially I started out with just a CSV, which is like something exactly like this, right? So this is like zeros, and then where the black boxes are, they're ones, and they represent the collisions. And then I load this in chunk tiles in my engine, and I know where the collisions are. Quite straightforward. I then went on to essentially using this tool to create the tile sets and whatnot, but there's a few ways to do it, but I chose to kind of just separate them out. So I've just got a layer for collisions, a layer for like backgrounds, foregrounds, anything else I want to just paint in, and then they've got my main level, which my player will walk on seemingly and interact. So essentially what happens here is I'm mapping these floor lines to this floor here on the tile set, and that's what I want to achieve. I want to just have these tiles have collisions, because I don't want the whole thing to have collisions, each tile, because that would be massively inefficient, because my collision system's comparing each tile against each tile in a scene like this. Whereas I'm only loaded in tiles for that camera angle, and then it's iterated through every single one of them collisions. So this is the best way for now to keep that processing low and performance up. And there's still a lot of performance gains to be made, and it's only a 2D engine, but you can still make it really slow and inefficient. And we've got really nice things like Unity and whatnot, but they're all graphics card accelerated, so my whole engine works entirely based off of software rendering. So I need to keep an eye on little performance bits like this. So what happens is I'll first load in this tile sheet into my engine and this map, and I'll create all the entities and load each of the sprites off of this tile sheet, and then map them accordingly, because this tool will export in JSON for me, so I just map them as that, and then I'll then come in and read the collisions data or collision data, and then map that onto each tile. And essentially a tile is a kind of entity. It's separated from the ECS system, so we've just got like a tile 2D map, so I can know X, Y coordinates. So they're tile entities in a 2D map that I can then map collisions to. So some of these tiles will just have sprites, some of them will have sprites and collisions, and so forth. So I'll just be doing everything with layers in this regard. So there needs to be a bit of work done to link what these layers are to my engine, so it knows that this is a collision layer and so forth. So there's a bit of configuration, file configuration stuff there to be done, but essentially this is how it works. So it's currently a working implementation. I can just demonstrate that for you. So I think it's in game.debug. So nope, debug.game, sorry. Debug.game. So just launch that. And this is that data loaded into my engine. So you can see the background there. That is my main player, this grass tile for now. So you can see we've loaded this view in here. So if I just move about, we can see the level is there. and I've got a debug menu I've got. So if I show collision meshes, there we go, we can see then my layer and how it's mapped onto them tiles. So essentially this is how I'm going to be handling toggle gravity. So it makes it a little bit more efficient, where I'm only loading these tiles in this scene, not the whole level, and then I'm only loading these collisions instead of every single one of these tiles having collisions, because each tile iterates against each tile for collisions. And for now, I mean, I'm going to improve the collision system in future, but this kind of principle of keeping things lightweight goes a long way anyway, and it stops issues occurring in the future. So if you've always got like a performance mindset, then it's easier to steer away from bigger issues in the future. So there'll be improvements to the collision system. However, I'm pretty happy with this at the minute. So we're just loading in the tiles and then mapping the collisions to them. I will be doing work to have multiple tile layers like foreground, background, and parallax and all that nice stuff. But at the minute, each thing you see on the screen only occupies that piece in memory on a 2D map. So for example, you can't have two entities mapped behind and in front of each other. For now, I'm just keeping it efficient and having, only a map of 2D tiles. And in future, I'll have multiple maps, and then they can parallax in back and forth out of each other, and then multiple depth of tiles to come. So I'm going to scale this up and test the limitations of it, and then make tweaks where needed for performance. Once I'm happy with performance, I can then start to get fancy and do multiple tile layers and whatnot.